Now it's time for the No New Friends podcast with Scott and Mary.
Come on, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. I am your host, Scott, and Mary has the evening off. She had a work thing. So standing in for Mary again is Chris.
What's up, guys? The death threats worked. I am back.
Yes, he is. And hopefully we'll be hearing a lot more of him in the upcoming days and weeks, or even your month or year. Well, anyway, you can hear us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, iHeartRadio, all those good places that you can hear us. You know where you're hearing us. You're listening to us right now. Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook, No New Friends Podcast. Find us on Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. And then, of course, our brand new YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast, where you can see Mary throw a temper tantrum over the red wedding in Game of Thrones. And also, it's not too late to nominate us for Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition under the category Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. I think I got everything out. Chris, how you doing tonight, man?
That's a marathon there.
Yeah,
man.
it is. I mean, it takes up half the show, so I don't really have to come up with a whole lot of topics. I just, do my spiel.
Yeah, we have about 2 more minutes, so if you want to get into this.
Right? So, Chris, thank you so much again for coming on. Like I said, I would love for this to be a regular thing with you. I think we vibe very well together.
Yeah, man, I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, I want our audience to kind of get to know you a little bit more. We didn't really do the formal interview yesterday. We just kind of jumped into it. You were telling me right before we started that you do a lot of reselling stuff. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I grew up with my family always owned businesses. We've always just been, my dad's an entrepreneur. So I kind of inherited that. So growing up, I never really worked. I've never filled out a job application. I've never made a resume. Yeah, I've never made a resume. I've always just either worked for and now with my dad. So it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Growing up, we had a jewelry store. So here's all the business we've been: jewelry store, pretzel store, restaurant. Like I might be missing something. We did a bread route for a day.
Wow.
Now we're in transportation. So we try to hit every we don't leave any stone unturned.
Yeah, I see that. Now, do you still dabble in some of the other stuff, or you just kind of focus on one certain thing?
So the cool thing about it is I got to try all these different things out to see what I like. The transportation thing is cool, but it's nothing I can do. I mean, the day-to-day on transportation isn't much. I just sit by a phone and just make sure no one gets in any accidents.
So what specifically with transportation? Like you manage a wing of Uber, or like what do you mean by transportation?
A fancy Uber, essentially. So we transport school students, special needs students that need nice. A minivan transportation. So we own a handful of minivans, give them transportation to and from.
That's a great business model, because that is definitely a necessity for sure.
Yeah. But I was noticing that I was just sitting around the house much, just like us all, the past year. But even when restrictions are being lifted, there's not much for me to do on a daily basis. So I started looking up these YouTube videos on how to start your own Amazon business, because I dabbled with eBay in the past.
Sure.
And so I started selling books online. Books are, surprisingly very profitable. Wow. And believe it or not,
how is that possible with the Amazon Fire or the Kindle Fire? I don't even know. I don't read. I'm a dumbass. But like all those like online things where you can read a book, why are books actually still being sold?
Well, that's the best part. I don't read either. I just sell them. I'm a book dealer. I'm just a book dealer. So I have this app, and I literally just go to a thrift shop or a book or even a bookstores and you scan, and you put a little headphone in and you hear the little ching, and then you look down. I just found a book today at the thrift shop that sells for $50. Someone's paying $50 for a book.
Wow.
That they can get. All these books you can get on Kindle, Comixology, because I've sold comics in the past, but I guess people just like that physical copy of books, and Amazon is the #1 bookseller in the world.
Well, Amazon started as just a book sales business,
and they're still #1.
Wow. So when you go to these thrift stores, you buy a book, let's say the Truth About Lying, whatever, I'm making up a book. Mm-hmm. You buy it for 50 cents because it's at a thrift store, and there's no value to it. It's 50 cents, but someone really wants that book. And so they'll pay like $50 for it.
The best part about it, Scott, is not even so. I buy the book, and this is all new to me because I just started this Amazon thing about a month and a half ago, but it's called Amazon FBA. It's called Amazon FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon. So
Okay.
what I do is I get all these books. So I might get 30 or 40 books, right? Well, I live in a little apartment. I don't have room to store them in my house. So Amazon, you send it, it's FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon. You go onto the website, you make your account, you fill out all the books, you print out your barcodes, you slap them on the book, you put them in the box, slap a shipping label, and you ship them to Amazon. They stay at Amazon's warehouse, and when someone buys them, Amazon ships it to the person for you.
Wow.
You don't even, they fulfill all your product.
So do you get paid when someone purchases it or when Amazon takes it?
Right. So when someone purchases it, I get a little notification, and then I get, since I'm new, I don't get the money right away. They have to hold it, so to make sure I'm not like some criminal.
Right.
So they fulfill the order for me, and then a week or so later they deposit money in my account. It's like magic.
This is crazy. So you don't even have to deal with the customer. You're going and you're random. So when you go to the thrift store, you don't even know what books are wanting to be bought. You just buy these books and
I just scan them. You scan everything. I bought a little Bluetooth scanner.
Okay.
And I pull out the books and I scan. It's connected to my phone on an app.
Right.
When I hear that little ding, I look to see how much. If it's profitable, I throw it in the cart.
Wow.
So
Apple kind of tell you, hey, you could make this amount off of it.
Exactly.
So this is a good buy.
Exactly.
Yep. You send it into Amazon and just hope that someone purchases it.
But the app goes as far as telling you the rank of the item. It tells you how many times it is sold in the last 6 months. So it's like there could be a book that's profitable, but maybe only one sells a year. So you want to stay away from that.
Right.
But with books, this is the cool thing on Amazon. Every item on Amazon has a ranking, right? So on Amazon for books, a comfortable ranking for it to sell would be 1 million or less. So anything from 0 to 1 million will sell relatively quickly. That's how many books they put out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is blowing my mind right now.
It's Amazon. So that's the Amazon side of the business, right?
Sure.
So that's how I started this new venture I've been doing.
Yeah.
Then I started going to thrift shops for the books, and I started seeing other stuff. I'm thinking, like, why do people donate this stuff? And I started scanning just items.
Yeah.
And I started selling more stuff on eBay than I had on Amazon. So I'd send all my stuff into Amazon. They take care of that. Then I take care of all my eBay listings.
Sure.
So you scan, if anything's ever brand new, you scan it brand new. But then what I started doing is, interesting looking things. Like right next to me, I have a skeleton toilet paper holder. It's a ceramic skeleton, and people pay for that stuff. You get it for a couple dollars. You put it online. Now this week I had sold some really interesting items. You're gonna laugh at what people pay for this. So this week I sold a lot of 6 vintage boxes of chalk.
What?
6 vintage boxes of chalk.
Oh my God.
So what do you think someone paid for 6 boxes of vintage chalk? Because I paid $8 for all of them.
I mean, that's what I would pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't collect vintage things. So, if I come across something vintage that I think is really cool, sure, I'll pick it up. But you bought it for $8.
Yeah. $8.
Someone really wanted it for the lot of them, the 6 of them. I'm going to say they spent $100.
$80 plus shipping. So $8 short of $100.
Wow.
On chalk.
Wow.
It is
unbelievable.
Incredible.
So then let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So we've got a community garage sale coming up on Saturday.
Yes.
And I've been, spending all week kind of clearing out my storage and getting ready for that. So I have an original Nintendo Entertainment System. It's in the box. I mean, like, the box is not great condition, but it's not bad condition. I'm assuming it still works.
You're talking about a Super Nintendo from
the original Nintendo Entertainment System. So
with the box.
In the box.
So it's not sealed in the box.
It's not sealed in the box.
But you have the box.
It was played. I have the box.
We're going to look up some comps for you because
please do.
You do not want to sell that at the yard sale, Scott.
Well, and what pisses me off is a couple of years ago I had a garage sale years and years and years ago, and I had like a whole bin of original NES games, like Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, and I sold the whole thing. It was probably like, gosh, I want to say 30, 40 games sold for $20.
Yeah, that's I'm not going to break your heart. I
know. After that, now they weren't still in the box. They had the original instructions and they were in the sleeve, but they weren't in the box. After I sold that, I said, why the hell did I do that? So now I also have a Super Nintendo. And I saw online, now it's not in the box.
Right.
I have no games. I have 2 controllers. I saw on Facebook, in the Facebook market, they were selling it for $150. And I was like, I don't know.
It could be. See now you're talking to me about this stuff. I know all this stuff. That's why, like, so I don't know how to do this. I don't know how I'm going to start it, but I want to start a YouTube channel to teach people like you that don't know that, right. like you have like gold just laying around your house.
Yeah.
And I want to show people that, like, you know, if you need a couple extra dollars for something, like, you can start your own business with literally just the stuff you have laying around your house. Well,
and the thing is, and this is why you have these professional garage sale people that will go around at, like, our garage sale starts at 7:30 in the morning. I guarantee you people will be here at 6:30 because they want the first ones out there, because people selling the stuff just want to get rid of it and don't know the value of it. These people are professionals and they know what they're looking for, and they'll be able to buy something for $1 just because someone wants to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
And then resell it for $1,000. You know, I don't know that the markup is that high, but it
can be. Yeah, it can be when people are desperate to get rid of stuff.
I am so desperate to get rid of my stuff that I know I'm going to end up selling something where I was like, yeah, I probably could have gotten a little bit more for it, but I just want to get rid of it.
Exactly. And you know, it's funny because we'll have yard sales and garage sales at our house, and I know what all my stuff is worth. We had the jewelry store, so I have like boxes and boxes of silver and stuff still from the jewelry store. I put it out there and I price it very reasonable, right?
Sure.
But I always put on the Craigslist post, you know, we're selling jewelry, and I get these early birds, and we put no early birds on the post, which means that all the early birds will still come,
right? Of course,
even earlier now.
You know, the one thing that being in the restaurant industry and the hospitality industry taught me is no one reads effing signs.
Oh,
no one reads signs. No. Doesn't matter.
Absolutely not.
So that's crazy. So is the chalk, is that the craziest thing you've ever sold?
So the chalk is definitely up there. I sold, wasn't a lot of money, but so there's this cool place called the Goodwill Outlet, and resellers, the slang is called the bins, because all it is just a bunch of bins and you dig through the bins to look for stuff.
Right. Like at Walmart, you can always find that treasure movie in that bin at Walmart.
Exactly. Just imagine that, but with all dirty old stuff.
Okay.
But the cool thing about it is, besides risking getting hepatitis, is that it's by the pound. So you buy all this stuff and they weigh it. And so I went last week. The weirdest thing I think that takes the cake over the chalk was somebody bought a Taco Bell employee visor for $17 off my eBay. Yeah. A Taco Bell employee hat. That was probably the weirdest thing that I sold this week.
So that'll be exciting, because I know I have a bin in my garage that has a lot of, like, I saw a Universal Studios name tag.
Okay.
And it's not the current version, so it's an older version. And I'm like, you know, I could probably sell that, because some theme park nut job somewhere, maybe Remy, would want to buy this item, and, you know, I could probably sell it for $10-15.
There's a buyer for everything.
Yeah.
So when I went and got that Taco Bell hat, I'm making my rounds. I didn't really find a lot of good stuff. I'm making my last lap around, and this woman's putting all these. I didn't even know what it was. They were like, they looked like mats, like, you know, those latch hook sets that you can do artwork on, the yarn type thing. Into the mat. So it looked like that, but it was trimmed tightly to the mat. Just putting all of them back, and they looked interesting. So I took them all. Rule number one is, when you see something interesting, you put it in your cart so no one else can take it, right?
Right.
So I put them all in my cart, and she says to me, yeah, those aren't going to sell for anything. It's like, oh, okay. While I'm walking away looking at like comps on my phone from eBay of them selling $20 to $30 a piece.
Wow.
So my auctions ended yesterday, and they sold very well for me. And it's just like, that's why you just have to look up literally everything. That name tag that you have. So if someone wants it bad enough, they're going to pay as much as you ask for it.
Right. That's crazy.
It's nuts, Scott.
Wow. All right. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, I want to get more of a history from Chris on how he joined the Diz Journey podcast and his connection with theme parks. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back. No New Friends podcast is now using Nikki Podcast Preparations Incorporated. which is a podcast management consultant agency of services that helps independent podcasts obtain more plays, downloads, guests, sponsors, and a bunch of the legwork behind the microphone when it comes to podcasting. CEO Nick can be contacted via Twitter or Instagram at NickyKeepyINC. And if you tell him that the No New Friends podcast sent you, we'll both get a 25% discount. Nikki has helped accumulate millions upon millions of downloads, tens of thousands of dollars in sponsorships, celebrity guests, and much more. So just shoot him a direct message to get your podcast growing.
Okay, let's be friends. Follow the No New Friends podcast on Facebook and Instagram at No New Friends Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast, where you can get a behind-the-scenes look at our recordings, everyday life, and shenanigans. Okay, bye.
Hey, this is Craig Brooks with Tasty Trivia, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with Scott and Mary. Mary is out tonight. Scott is definitely not out tonight. Scott is here. Mary is out tonight with a new work thing. She's got a new fancy job, so she's not going to be with us tonight. But sitting in for her is Chris, who was with us on Tuesday night, and we're so excited to have him, or Thursday night, sorry. So excited to have him back. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, No New Friends Podcast, Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast, and then our brand new YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe. It really, really helps us out. And if you like a video, hit that like button. So right before the break, I wanted to kind of find out from Chris. So Chris is on another podcast that occasionally I get to have the honor of being on. It's the Diz Journey podcast, Remy's Roundtable. It's like kind of a weird... There's a Diz His podcast, and then there's Remy's Roundtable, and I guess when it's combined, it's the Diz Journey, Remy's Roundtable, something like that.
Oh yes, the big crossover. Yes, it's the big crossover event that happens once a week.
Right. It's very
highly anticipated. Yes, so.
And you guys are on Twitch too, which is really cool. And I'm not advanced enough for that kind of stuff, but that's pretty cool. And you guys have a lot of interaction. The guy Dane every week is calling you guys out.
The heckler. Yeah. Dane the heckler. He's one of the Patreons on the Diz His podcast. The Twitch element's really cool. It's really fun because we have we peak at 3 viewers, but one is literally 5 feet from me on her her phone.
Well, and then the other one is Remy because he's got it on. And then the first episode that I was on, I had it on.
So we usually peak at when you put that into it's pretty depressing. But seeing those numbers go up is fun and pretend to interact and pretend I'm this big streamer is fun. But it's the Twitch element's a cool aspect to it.
It is cool. So you live in New Jersey, and you're on a theme park podcast. Mm-hmm. So did you? Well, it's more celebrity birthdays podcast, but it's a theme park podcast with some celebrity news or celebrity birthdays and some theme park news and whatnot. So kind of tell me how that works. Did you ever live in Florida, or have you always been in Jersey? Tell me about your theme park connection.
So it's really, really strange, funny story. Last year during the pandemic, I think everyone was pretty depressed in some way, shape, or form. So my way to escape the depression of all the news that we would see every day was what can make me happy? Well, Disney stuff, because how can you be upset watching Disney content? And I really love history.
Okay.
So I was digging into the history of the rides. I was reading books. I don't even read books. That's how depressed I was. I'm reading books on the history of Disney and this and that, because I find that really fascinating, really inspiring. So so I searched on podcasts, I listened to stuff, and I found the Diz His podcast. So I joined up with them. I joined their Patreon. So I was $5 a month or something to help support them. And Joe, one of the hosts of the show, reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, join our Discord," which do you know what Discord is?
No.
Discord is AIM. Do you know what AIM was? AOL Instant Messenger.
Yes.
It's essentially that, but you're in private rooms, right? So it's like a
group chat room.
It's like a group chat.
Okay, let me educate you. Back when I was your age, we had AOL chat rooms, and we would chat with other people that we didn't know.
Yeah,
And then
essentially.
the big thing was ASL, and that did not stand for American Sign Language. It
Yeah,
was
you lost
age,
me there.
sex, location. So if someone
Oh,
typed, "Hey," and then like they could click on you, and then you would go into a private room, and it was like, "Hey, age, sex, location," and so it was probably like they probably had to put some constraints on that because there were
that's what
probably a
that
lot of
stood for.
predators and stuff. Yeah,
I got catfished on AIM before.
I'm
It's a
we probably
story
all
for
got
another time. So I
catfished.
was like 12 at the time. So
Dude, I got I've been catfished, and I've been hit up by a Russian trying to get me to
oh,
pay for her to come to the United States. Like she was sending me all sorts of pictures. She was gorgeous, gorgeous. And I'm like, all right, I could spend $900 to get her here.
well,
But I didn't because I'm sure it was a scam.
funny story about that. Somebody that I know, I won't get into details. Somebody that I know asked to meet up with me, an older gentleman, and he usually asks me tech questions and stuff. So he sits me down and he goes, "I need you to help me set up my Cash App." I was like, "All right, yeah, sure." So I just scan his ID, whatever. Then he's like, "So what's Bitcoin?" And I was like, "Oh, Bitcoin is this imaginary currency, based on nothing." Da, da, da. It's short and sweet. Told him like it's just a form of currency. And while he's telling me this, I'm getting I'm on his phone. While he's telling me this, I'm getting text messages from this woman saying, "Did he teach you how to send the Bitcoin? You can send it. I'm gonna need this much
Oh
money."
my
I was like,
God.
and
He was getting scammed by a Russian.
how do I bring up like this is what Bitcoin is, but I don't think you should be sending it.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like biting my tongue. I'm like, it's this, but it's not good. And oh man, so yeah. So I helped somebody get scammed. So I could be in federal prison in the next year or so.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. Or you could join a very successful business model where you help unsuspecting loser guys like myself when I was single hook up with Russians and send them Bitcoin.
We'll talk. Next commercial break.
We can have a good business plan on this. No.
I like this. So getting back to the the 6 degrees of His podcast. So I joined the Discord page, and then me and the host of the show, Joe and Alex, we just all became really good friends, and we game like every day, and we're actual friends now. So
right.
I start listening to their podcast. Then I joined the Discord, and now we're actually all friends. They're actually invited to my wedding in 6 months.
Oh, that's cool.
That's how close we are. So we're all like really good friends. And
that's awesome.
About a year later. So anyway, so this Diz Journey thing came up, and me and Joe wanted to start streaming on Tuesday nights on Twitch, playing like the old school Aladdin game and stuff like that. Like,
sure.
On pirated games that he didn't send to me through a Dropbox file. So we did that for a week, and then I don't know, it just kind of fell off. And he started doing the podcast with Remy on Tuesday nights, just the live Twitch thing. And Remy would do, and then he said, "Hey, you should come on." And then I came on. A couple weeks later, you came on, and I gave off the illusion, I think, that I was a distinguised podcaster.
Yeah.
And now you're
natural.
Now I'm on the now I'm a guest on the No New Friends podcast.
Yeah. So then Remy is Remy friends with them also? How does that work? How did that slide in there?
So Remy is a man of many mysteries. I don't know. Remy, I don't know how. Joe literally knows everybody a little bit. He's like the mayor.
Sure.
He just knows people. So it's like he just gets people on the show, and Remy just I don't know how they linked up, but they linked up, and now we do
you do this crossover episode,
a 4-hour it's a 4-hour celebrity birthday / theme park news podcast.
Yeah, it's but if you get a chance to check out Remy's Roundtable, especially when they do Diz Journey, it's fun. It's it's like this. It's light, where we pretty much kind of tease Remy for being afraid of falling off roller coasters.
Yeah, that's half the show.
Yeah. I shame on him though. The biggest news story in any theme park was Disney figured out how to make a real lightsaber, and we're talking about the menu being changed at Be Our Guest or something. I'm like, dude.
I started Googling how to fire someone from their own podcast. That was just
Oh man, that was fun. But so are you a big theme park enthusiast, or just during the pandemic you just wanted to kind of make yourself feel happy?
So me and my fiance always loved Disney World. We kind of, I guess we fell in love with it on senior trip. That was our big senior trip down to Disney.
That's right, because you guys have been together since sophomore year of high school, which is an awesome story.
Yeah. So we fell in love with Disney. We're like, we got to get back. We saved, I think it was $20 each a week for like 2 years just to go back. So every week, faithfully, I've never been more committed to anything than I was to putting $20 a week. I don't pay my bills that efficiently, but I paid the $20 a week to Disney. And we went back, and then it's just like now it's just like trying to figure out how do we go back again. We're trying to save for this big party to announce our entanglement.
Yeah,
weddings are weird, man.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm kind of a girl. I love weddings.
I love them, planning them. For them.
Well, yeah, I love planning them. I love going to them. So this is what we should do. Because I'm spoiled, man. I'm an annual pass holder at Disney, at Universal. I mean, like we go to Disney. It's not as much, but it's like once a month we'll go. And then Universal, because my wife and I both worked at Universal. That's where we met 20 some odd years ago.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, we didn't stay dating that long. We dated for like 3 weeks and then split up and then got back together 17 years later. But, so we love the theme parks, but I'm so spoiled. Like I take for granted that like there's some people that will put $20 a week aside for years.
For 2 years.
So what we should do is, you guys, the next time you guys come down, dude, I live 10 minutes away from 20 minutes away from the theme parks. Dude, I got a 7-bedroom house. You come stay with us.
Oh man.
And then
great.
So you're saving on the hotel and there you go. I mean, I got 3 big dogs, but
that's fine. I have a mother-in-law. You live 20 minutes. I live 20 hours. Like that's right. That's how crazy. The closest theme park I have is my neighbor's backyard. They built a big sliding board out of wood. They think you get tetanus if you go down it.
Right.
That's the closest thing I get to a thrill ride.
That's funny. You watch the rides on YouTube on your TV, and you kind of set up a little motion simulator so you can experience.
Oh, I got the VR headset.
There you go.
I'm watching It's a Small World like it's some adult movie.
I did that. That was trending at the very beginning of the pandemic, where like it was. Make your own Disney ride at home, and people were making the attractions at home. Well, one day, my 8-year-old, she's never been to Disney, believe it or not. I mean, we live here, annual pass holders. It's a long, complicated story, but pretty much I don't want the first time she goes to Disney to be just with me. I want her mom to come too. So
that makes sense.
It's coordinating her mom, my wife, all that stuff. So. But there's a lot of attractions that she hasn't seen at Disney, and then at Universal as well. There's a lot of attractions that don't exist anymore that she hasn't seen. So we went down this rabbit hole of we watched Twister, the ride, and Jaws, and that was fun. Just kind of going down memory lane, enjoying all these rides that I used to love, and then taking her down it as well.
Why did they get rid of those? I just showed it was because, and it sucks too, because like I remember going on Kong when I was younger, because my parents took us to the parks when we were younger. My grandparents lived in Fort Myers, so we would make a trip to Disney and Universal. I'm showing my fiance Kong, and like that was a cool ride. I was like on a handheld camcorder. It's awful quality, right? But it's like that's the best you got anymore between that and Jaws and Twister. Why did they get rid of stuff like that?
They're limited on space. First, Jaws was extremely expensive to operate.
Was it real? I could see that.
Oh yeah, with all the fire effects and all the underwater sensors, it was very expensive to operate and maintain. And the popularity of it was kind of. I'm sure they have pie charts and bar graphs and all that, and just the popularity versus the expense wasn't there anymore.
Wow.
And I mean, when they opened up Hogsmeade and Forbidden Journey, the Harry Potter section of Islands of Adventure is what saved that company, because Universal wasn't doing great. At least their theme park
didn't do a lot of new stuff before the whole Harry Potter.
Right. And there was no driving force in there. Everything was a little bit outdated. Just nothing drove people there. When they opened up Harry Potter, that changed the game. I mean, they have been profitable pretty much ever since.
They fired somebody because they had somebody come to a marketing table and say, "We need a Jimmy Fallon ride. We need a 3D Jimmy Fallon ride, Race to New York." It's like they were trying to pull stuff like that. Yeah. And then they're like, "Yeah, why don't we just why don't we just do Harry Potter?"
Right. Yeah. So Harry Potter, and then I think when Jaws lost its popularity and they realized how expensive it was to operate, they're like, you know what? We can do something else, connect the two parks with a train, and It's Harry Potter themed, and now let's strike while the iron's hot.
Brilliant. Yeah.
It was. And so, they have to change things every once in a while. The old King Kong made way for Mummy. The only thing
Mummy is a great ride.
The most underrated ride, I think, at the resort.
100%.
Yep. The only attraction that is 100% safe is the Orlando version of E.T. Adventure.
Why? Because I love ET, and I'm
Me too.
Every time I go, I'm like, oh, is this gonna be the last time I ride it?
No.
And now I'm glad you said that.
It's never gonna go away.
Why?
So first of all, it's the only Universal that ride exists. It's gone at California. It doesn't exist anywhere else except for Orlando. There is some connection with Universal Studios and Steven Spielberg. I know that he was a consultant when they first opened the park, and he had a lot of say in things like Jaws. When they redid the ride and it was being electrocuted, he hated it because it's not true to the original movie. It's true to the sequel, but it's not true to the original movie.
What's sequel?
Jaws. Yeah. E.T. when that ride first opened, they had the bikes, and then they also had a spaceship as the ride vehicles. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was open and all that, and that was the ADA vehicle to put wheelchairs on. And Spielberg said, no, get rid of the spaceships. It's not true to the ride. And now it's just the bikes. So he has a lot of say-so at what goes on at Universal. And I don't know the exact relationship or the exact contract or what that all is, but E.T. is his baby.
Huh. Well, I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah.
Because some people spend $80 on chalk. I spend an unlimited amount of money in the ET gift store.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. And I love that. I mean, whether I have my kids with me or not, that is the one ride that I will ride. I mean, okay, I won't wait more than 20 minutes for it. I'm spoiled.
The golden rule.
Yeah. But I ride that whether my kids are there or not. It doesn't matter.
It's a great ride.
Yeah. There's a story about why Spielberg has this special place. E.T. has a special place in Spielberg's heart. Mm-hmm. And Spielberg, kind of growing up, he never really wanted to have a family. He just wanted to kind of do his thing and all that. Right. And directing the family and seeing that dynamic and seeing how close they were and just, seeing that family is what made him want to get married and have a family.
Wow. How about that? So they'll just wait till he dies to get rid of E.T. So as long as Spielberg is alive, E.T. is safe.
Right. That, as far as I know, that's the deal. Because I mean,
awesome.
They could have gotten rid of it years ago. I mean,
I'm surprised they didn't.
It is the only original day attraction. I mean, Universal Studios opened up in 1990. We're now in 2021. So what? That 31 years ago.
Not to mention, there hasn't been an ET movie since
1982. Yeah. 1982 is when ET came out, and we're still riding the same ride. But I love it. I don't care. I love the smell.
Oh, it's the best.
Love
I like
that
when
ride.
He creepily says Chris at the end of at the end of it.
Well, we don't do our real names anymore. We always make the attendant type in the longest name in their database, which is Wakabayashi. Wakabayashi. It works. You can hear him say Wakabayashi. It's the longest name in their database. It's kind of a former employees know that, and annual pass holders know that. So, okay, everybody keep that secret. Don't, spread the word on that. No. The last I blew another secret. Chez Alcatraz, and I talked about this on the episode with Remy. Chez Alcatraz is my favorite bar on Universal property, and it was never busy, never had a line, nothing. And on one of the Facebook groups, they're like, hey, where do you guys live? I'm like, oh my God, Chez Alcatraz is great. That place always has a line now. And I'm like, damn it, I'm not sharing my secrets anymore with anybody because it is kind of tucked away, but it's right next to the Hanging Shark and all that. But all right, we're going to go to, yeah, right in San Francisco. We're going to go to break. You're listening to No New Friends Podcast. We'll be right back.
If you're looking to advertise your business or service, please email us at nonewfriendspodcast@yahoo.com. A captive audience is ready to hear what you have to offer. Contact us today. Again, that email is nonewfriendspodcast@yahoo.com.
Hi, this is comedian Miguel Colon, and you're listening to the No New Friends Podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. As always, please like us on Facebook, Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast on YouTube. And also, it isn't too late to nominate us for Orlando Weekly's Best of competition under Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. Mary is not with us today. First of all, it's Mother's Day, and she also had a work thing. But Chris Yob was generous enough with his time to spare his evening and hang out with me tonight, and hopefully we can make this more of a regular occurrence. So do you have any you got anything going on for Mother's Day? I mean, I know you're not a mom, but
so we're getting in that stage in life now that so I just had a nephew be born a couple weeks ago.
Nice. Okay.
So now I have all these mothers in my life.
Sure.
So we're doing a little Mother's Day brunch at the in-laws, and
Nice.
then we do something with my mom at night. So it'll be cool. We
Okay.
get all the moms done. We get check off all our I's and cross all our T's all the same day.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, we've got it's a long story, but basically everybody's coming over to our house at 3 p.m. and we're going to order some Publix.
That sounds nice.
Publix is our grocery store here in Florida.
I've been in a Publix.
Okay. All right.
It's
once. Like, I feel bad for people who don't have Publix.
That's what
Publix
I hear.
Is the best grocery store.
That's what I hear.
First of all, they have the best subs made.
That's
to
what
order.
I hear. You're not the first person that
Publix
said that.
subs are legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Okay. They also have in select Publix centers, they've got a cooking school.
Really?
Yeah. And it's not like you don't take an 8-week course. It's like a date. It's like a date activity where you go in and you're taught how to cook this gourmet meal by, an accomplished chef or Michelin chef or whatever. And step by step, it's a nice little date activity to cook together, and then you take it home and eat it, whatever. But yeah, Publix shopping is definitely a pleasure.
So Publix sounds like they have a monopoly on just like everything down there.
I mean,
your food, you can cope for classes, you can go to college there.
Yeah, right. There are other grocery stores here, but they don't last very long. Winn-Dixie, I think, Winn-Dixie's still around, and there was Albertsons for a while, but Albertsons is gone. We did have Piggly Wiggly's for a while.
I know of Piggly Wiggly's when I was young in going to North Carolina. I remember seeing that.
Right, but Piggly Wiggly didn't last down here.
Okay.
Cash and carry. I think we still have some cash and carries, but they're just Publix is the grocery store. They don't coupon, or no, they do take coupons, but they don't have a reward club like the other grocery stores do.
Right.
Has fuel perks. Publix is like, nah. We'll send out coupons in the mail, but no, we don't need to do all that.
They just put something in their water that they sell you. Just
makes
you keep coming back.
They have they're known for all their BOGO specials. They're buy one get one specials. They do COVID shots. I mean, it's great.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, I hate grocery shopping, but I would rather go to Publix than anywhere else.
We have one of those type places up here. It's called Wegmans, and there's actually an article online, Wegmans versus Publix. I'll let you see see who the experts pick.
All right, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, but Publix, I mean, if you like grocery shopping, like my wife does or like Mary does, Publix is a magical place.
I thought you were going to say if you like grocery shopping, you might be a psychopath.
I hate it, and Publix is also famous for their cakes. They make the best cakes. I mean, like, if it's not about Publix cake and you're buying me a cake for my birthday, it's not a Publix cake, you're going to get that cake back in your face.
This sounds like some very culty thing. Like you're very loyal to Publix.
Everybody in Florida is, unless you're like really, unless you're lower income and you need to go to like the Save-A-Lots or the Aldi's very popular here.
Oh, too. I love Aldi. Yeah. I love Aldi. Yeah.
But Publix is the place. And
talk about Aldi for a second. They run such a great business model. They make you do their work for them.
I know. Right?
and I still go there. Yeah. And I'm bagging my own stuff. I'm stocking the shelves.
Yep.
I'm bringing their carts back.
Yep. You're paying 25 cents for the cart.
Yeah. And I'm paying them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy business model, but hey, good for them. Good for them. So Mother's Day, they're coming over here. Unfortunately, we can't see my wife's mom. She lives in Canada, and we actually haven't seen. I mean, she used to come down 2 to 3 times a year, but because of the pandemic, we haven't seen her in over a year.
That sucks.
She visited us in March of last year. She left like March 9th when it was like,
Okay.
oh gosh, we're super concerned that you're flying. Like maybe you should just stay here for the
Yeah.
next year. And we haven't seen her since. It's been awful. It's been difficult on my wife. It's difficult on my mother-in-law, obviously, my father-in-law.
Yeah.
So, it sucks. And we're all vaccinated now, but there's still the travel restrictions.
Yeah, traveling. Yeah, it's awful. And COVID was really bad for situations like that, but COVID was great for people that you just did not want to see. I feel like that was the one positive thing was like, hey, you want to come out tonight? We're going COVID. Like,
yeah,
can't go. Don't want to kill my dad.
Right.
So it's
right.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Can't go.
But so there was definitely a tough situation, man. But yeah, I think we're getting to the end of the
rounding the corner. We are actually rounding the corner now.
Finally.
For real. Unlike the last time we thought we were rounding the corner. Or when
I think 1 month in, I think
conference.
we were rounding the corner.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it'll be a nice day. Looking forward to that. God bless my mom. She's mom of the year. She's like Martha Stewart. She's also always prepared for any situation. You need a Sharpie while you're trick-or-treating. She's got a Sharpie in her purse.
How do they do it? I don't know.
Always
have crackers. Always has crackers.
If you remember the high school glory day episode where Mary was like, I need to see pictures of you in that Hornet costume. My mom sent them to myself and Mary tonight. Like she is super prepared. So on her birthday one year, I was like 5 years old. On her birthday, my dad had to work, and her asshole son decides that he's going to be sick that day and throws up everywhere. So she's cleaning up on her birthday. So shout out.
Didn't complain once about it. I bet you she didn't complain once.
Yeah. No, I hear about it every year on her birthday and every year on my birthday and Mother's Day. But shout out to all moms out there. My mom is the best. You guys deserve this day. Do not lift a finger. Just enjoy your day.
They know what, Scott? I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
I love the meaning of Mother's Day. I hate the holiday. I hate the holiday.
Why?
And it's not even, and it's not Mother's Day that I hate. I hate these created holidays that it's not even the holiday that I hate. I'm really digging myself into a ditch. It's the
commercialization of the holiday.
Yes. It's because I just went to Hallmark. I spent like $5.99 on a card.
Yeah.
And you need it.
Yeah.
And you need it. I go to the and like commercialization of holidays. I can get roses for $12 the day after Valentine's Day, but on Valentine's Day, I paid $49.99.
Right.
But I needed them.
Right.
It's like Mother's Day is just another one of those holidays where it's like, I noticed tulips are the new gold.
Right.
Tulips
Effing
were $3
Hallmark.
yesterday.
Effing Hallmark for whatever they did, whatever magic they put in the water to make us, commercialize all of these.
My goodness, they put out nothing but garbage, and they turn it into gold. Their movies, their products, their everything. I'm looking at a picture frame yesterday. I'm thinking, I saw something like this at Target the other day. I turned it on. It's Hallmark. It's $39.99 because it says #1 mom on it. But I could have got the same one at Target for a fraction of the price. And guess what?
Buy a white mug and then paint on it, and you can make her one.
Oh, no. I'm there. I bought it. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need, and they know that.
Right, for sure. You know what else is kind of a sham, and you're going through this right now. You're planning a wedding. That business, oh my God. All the things that you think that you need but really don't. So do you have the napkins with your names and the date on it?
Scott, I bet you if I told them I was throwing a Sweet 16, it would have been a fourth of the price. As soon as you say wedding, it's like, all right, well, let's get you the wedding napkins. We're not going to give you the Sweet 16 napkins. They pull it out of the same drawer, though.
Right.
Same napkins.
Same print. Yep.
What place? So I can go to a buffet and have all I can eat for $15, right? With COVID, we probably could get COVID too for $15. And at a wedding buffet, we'll charge you $110 a head.
Right.
Like, what? I almost
for
went
a buffet
myself.
Yeah.
It's
for
like
a buffet,
it's
like 110 for sit down. Okay. 110 for a buffet.
Oh, it's ridiculous. They're like, all right, so buffet is gonna be 110. Sit down is I forget what was less. It was like $10 less. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just do the $10, whatever's $10 more. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's like that's another 1,000. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? What's it, just $1,000?
It's incredible. And I worked in the food business. I know how much that food costs. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot. Not a lot at all.
Not at all. And it's like so next week, if I wanted to throw a little party in my backyard, I could call up somebody, hey, give me a DJ. Oh, $100, $150 for the hour.
For a wedding, like $2,000.
Yeah, give me 2,000 is reasonable. You want us to introduce you guys? That's an extra $800.
Yeah. Oh, you want lights? Yeah, that's gonna be an extra $300.
You want to look at the lights? That's gonna be an extra $600. It's like every they nickel and dime you for.
But we are doing a special. If you get 8 uplights, we're going to give you the 9th and 10th for free. They're $200 a piece, by the way.
Yeah, they always got the deal, and then the deal is then in the fine print. It's like, well, you didn't really pay for that. I mean, you really did pay for that. So.
Yeah.
It is like it makes me want to throw up. Yeah. And you know what? All those extras we're paying for it because it's the wedding day.
Here's the things that matter. Okay, because there's a lot of people that will spend a lot of money on the flowers. Don't spend a lot of money on the flowers.
Not us.
Yeah,
no, that
do
was
not.
One thing,
Nobody remembers the flowers. This is what people remember. They remember, was the food good? Was the DJ good? And I forget the third thing. How did the bride look?
You know what? That's a great point, because that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, I went to my future brother-in-law's wedding last year, and it's like, what did I remember from that day? Did I remember the flowers? I don't remember the flowers. No. I remember the drinks were good. Yep. I remember the music was good, and I remember the food was good.
Yeah, that's the third thing. Do they have a cash bar, or is it an open bar?
This is gonna be open bar. Yeah. And theirs was open bar. Yeah. That was one thing I was told by people, like, don't do a cash bar, and don't do a tip jar either. You tip the people. You don't want people even thinking that they're going to be. Well,
and there are certain caterers that are not even allowed to put the tip jar out.
Right.
I told my bartender, and of course we tipped all of our vendors, but I told our bartenders, I was like, look, we're doing this big gratuity that'll get, but if you want to put a tip jar out, go ahead. And like, oh, we're not really allowed to. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. And I don't remember colors of wedding unless it, like, my sister's, because my sister's was such an epic and iconic wedding for me.
Yeah.
I remember her colors.
Right.
I couldn't tell you the names of the colors, but I know that, like, it was like a turquoise blue and a light purple.
And like, if you're the guest, you're never going to know that.
No.
The guest. First of all, most of those people are going to get drunk and forget the night anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, and this past year was very,
and that's the thing is, for the most part, nobody really cares about I mean, obviously there's 2 people that really care about the wedding and how it goes: the bride and the bride's mom. Okay.
Yes.
And that's not true. You got your close family that really gets into the wedding. Everybody else could care less about the ceremony. All they care about is, when is cocktail hour, because I want some booze.
That's probably what all I'm going to want to.
Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret, because our wedding is going to go down in history as one of the best weddings that people attended. And I'm going to tell you why. When people showed up, so our ceremony started at 6:30. Okay. We told everybody to get there at 6.
Okay.
We had a pre-cocktail hour. So we had music in the lobby and all that, and they were able to get. Now, it was just our signature cocktails. Like, they couldn't just get whatever, but they were able to get our signature cocktails, and everybody was handed a glass of champagne en route to the ceremony, because at the end we wanted, instead of everybody doing something, we wanted everybody to raise a glass and take a swig of their champagne, or whatever they were drinking. But the most, like, when I go to a wedding, I'm like, I've got to sit through this ceremony 20-30 minutes. Gave people booze ahead of time.
I love that. And then I just actually I texted my wedding coordinator about that idea. She said that'll be an extra $4,000. So thank you. So thank you for that idea. There's actually it's funny you say that. There's a champagne, like, for an extra $25 a person, you can do a champagne toast. I was like,
the biggest sham is the cake cutting. You have to pay for them to cut the cake.
It's like, they throw these stuff in that you would never even think of too. It's like, like you said, the cake cutting, a champagne toast. I'm reading for fine print to make sure they're not going to charge us for the oxygen they pump into the dance floor. It is like I think I want to get into weddings. I think that's what I want to do.
I thought about that because my wife and I, it's kind of a dream of ours is to have a wedding venue. We want to have a wedding venue where we can do kind of one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And, I've got so many connections in the entertainment business and all that, but we want to be event planners. We're both really good at it, especially weddings. And so that's kind of a dream of ours. And the ka-ching, especially if you could one-stop shop it. I mean, I would outsource some things to other people, but of course I'm going to mark it up so that I can get my cut too.
And nobody's haggling. It's like I compare like wedding shopping and wedding stuff to like when you're in a theme park. It's like, would you pay $15 for a soda with Mickey Mouse on it at 7-Eleven? No. But when you're in Disney, you're going to buy 3 of them. You're going to buy 3 of them.
Absolutely. And it doesn't even have to be like the current day Mickey. It could be like Walt's original drawing, which, looks like crap.
Exactly. So you go to a wedding, you say, we'll do an ice cream bar for you for $700.
Yeah.
What a deal.
Right. You're blowing my mind right now because I've been married twice and I've never heard of anybody negotiating for wedding services or packages or anything like that.
We tried to negotiate with somebody and they're like, no. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even anything like, could we do this? It was just like, would we be able to bring like, a cheaper option? And like, no, that's not how it works.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
No, they don't give you a lot of room for customization or
no.
It's their way or none. So you've got to find the way that makes the bride the happiest.
Exactly. And the best part about what they do is they have taken a tradition that started in like the hundreds and hundreds of years ago that was made for something totally strange and kept it current today to give us the illusion that it's very, very important to throw a huge, like tens of thousands of dollar party to show people that you're getting married to someone.
Right.
So hats off to
crazy.
them.
It's man, I wish younger, instead of, I like every other little girl, I always pictured my wedding. Instead of picturing my wedding, I wish I would have pictured my wedding business. Because damn.
Tell me about it. Or a down payment on a house, which is what we've been talking about a lot lately.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
The deed is done and it's gonna be one hell of a party. What I mean? I guess that's just the way you gotta look at it.
Well, that's awesome, man. All right, we're out of time for today. Chris, thank you again so much for coming on. Hopefully this can be a more of a regular thing, and then you can help us out with some of the other business models of the podcast and different things that we can do.
Yeah, as long as the pay is so good, I'll be back.
Well, we're working on that. As always, please make sure you like and follow us on Facebook, No New Friends Podcast, Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. Please subscribe and share on our YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast. And also please nominate us Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition under the category Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. And we will be back on Tuesday.
Okay, bye.